It's 5 to 7 in the evening, and I've just finished teaching a very promising student who I've taught for a little while now, and I think I've mentioned him before actually in another vlog. He's studying for his grade 4 ABRSM exam, and he's about 15, I think 16, going through some changes with his voice, and also he's extremely busy. He's doing all sorts of auditions and things, and got lots of things planned for the summer, with taking part in productions, and it's all very exciting, and he's very determined. The kind of things that we look at in his lessons don't always follow the same pattern, and if I'm honest, in a lesson I nearly always try to break things up a little bit, because never to make them the same, because it's not, what's the point of just singing through the same exercises every single time. What I want to do with students is always to try and make them really think about it. Now, he's got lots of changes happening to his voice, and this could apply to any singer, because at times in our lives we all have these challenges where you have to try something different, or maybe your voice is actually not as it started out. So someone who's just started singing, they might think, for example, quite typically with women especially, you find that one of the major things they think is that they are an alto, they're not a soprano, they can't get those high notes, and then they start going down their vocal journey and realise before we've got very far that actually they really are a soprano who has been chickening out of some of the higher notes, or maybe just had not had the right instruction. What's really interesting from the lesson that I've just taught though is that he's decided to, he's got his exam date. It's something like the 6th of April, and it's right slap bang at the wrong time for him and all his exams and just other things that he's involved in. So he's had to make some decisions about what to do, whether to take that exam or whether to take it in the summer, try and get a different appointment, a different exam date. But in fact he's just as busy in the summer. Now, I'm not a teacher who particularly worries about people taking exams. I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Sure, they're great as a kind of encouragement for development, but sometimes you can get so hooked on doing the exams and imagining that you've got to get the next exam to be, a truly proficient singer, when in fact that is not the case. So I have said to him, and we've just agreed, that we're going to wait till November. We're going to wait till later in the year. All sorts of things might happen by then, but I think there's no rush. And I think that you have to really adjust, and it's good to make those adjustments and to make those decisions where you're not just driving yourself along on a path vocally that you're not sure about. So I think that's a really good decision. By November his voice may well have settled down a bit. He probably will have a bit more brain space, and he'll just be settling into his first A-level year. So life will seem very different. What he's got to do though is he's got to commit to taking the exam in November, which means that we've got to hang on to all the things that we've learned so far. And I guess one of the key things with anything that you've got success attached to the end of it, it's this magic word called momentum. You can learn anything. You can study hard to take an exam, or to attain a certain level, or to prepare for a recital, but in the end what propels you forward to make those great leaps of understanding and learning is the momentum that you install, you put into something, and to keep it going. And of course, by stopping preparations for the exam means that at some point in the near future we're going to have to rethink, recalibrate if you like, and it's going to be probably towards the end of the summer, and that may be hard. But in the interim we're looking at ways in which his developing voice, I can help him overcome some of the difficulties he's experiencing, because of course the one thing that lots of people do, and this includes ladies or gentlemen who feel that their range is always kind of lowish and never can make those high notes, is that you play to your strengths only, and you only think about singing songs or singing in a chorus, in a choir, somewhere where it's really comfortable, and get those low juicy notes out. But actually what we really must do is make sure that those higher notes are not completely overlooked and steered away from. In fact, there are all sorts of things that we can do to make sure that they stay well and truly in your register, in your range. So a few worthwhile points there, and food for thought for those of you who think that you're definitely someone who has a lower voice rather than a higher voice is not always true. For me personally, as a teacher sitting on the other side of the screen, sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes I think to myself, I wish I was standing in that room with him, because I need to really make sure he's paying attention. But we did actually get there, and he made some fantastic sounds. But it took, I guess that was a 45-minute lesson, and he really didn't come to life until we got at least 30 minutes into the session. And that's, I suppose, is the trick of the teacher. That's the teacher's lot, is actually making sure that, I think that's what the teacher's lot is all about. That often, and I've seen recently blog posts about, for example, that as a singing teacher, I think I may have mentioned this as well, you know, you're part psychiatrist, people come for lessons and you have to give them at least 20 minutes of their lesson time to talk things through, to get to the point where they're ready to surrender themselves to your tender teachings. Well, I think that, yes, that is the case, but sometimes it takes the brain that long to truly focus on the very thing that you need. And it's my job to try and make sure we get to that point, and when we've got to that point, that it's fully covered and understood. And then that little nugget of knowledge can be taken forward, and that's really, really important. Okay, on to dinner now. More soon. Bye-bye. Ooh, one thing I'm being told off for is not doing a call to action at the end of my vlogs. Well, you should have various things that come up on screen to invite you to go elsewhere on my channel, but if you do like what you hear and what you see and you want to have more, then please do subscribe to my channel, and then you'll always know when there's something new to watch. Okay, bye for now.